So I'm back. Yeah. So I have to apologize for not uploading for a week, and it's because I got mouse ulcers again. So even though I wanted to upload, I couldn't. It's almost like my body after hearing your comments, it was like, can I have a week off? Bet. So I apologize for not uploading, but it was beyond my control. But I'm here right now. And with that, hope you guys enjoy What If Deku Was Abandoned Part 5 video intro. So this time, no recap. If you want to know what happened last part, click on I button right here. So before we start the part, I swear this is the last time. Maybe. Some of you did ask why Nigeria did not help Deku during the fight, and basically at the end. And it's because everything happened so fast that she wasn't able to react. Plus, I want to make Deku look a badass, so I think that's a good enough reason. So with that, let's begin. So after the fight, some guard rushed at Deku to give him some help because his injury looked bad. And when they got close to it, they realized that it's worse than they thought. All the skin of his forearm is completely gone. But when they are about to treat him, Deku stopped them and told them that he can take care of himself. They tried to tell him to let them do their job because they have experience in this matter. Deku was adamant that he can do it by himself. So they realized there is no point of keep doing this. So they give him a first aid kit and they go check on the rest of the people, but they keep one lifeguard with him just in case he mess up. Then Ryuko finally show up. She rushed at Nijiri and asked her, is everyone okay? She nodded and tell him that only Deku was hurt. Then Ryuko saw Deku and he's doing some bandages on his hand, and the lifeguard is close to him for some reason. So she walked to them at the same time Deku finished doing his bandage, and the lifeguard was impressed. He asked Deku if he done this before. Deku nodded. Then Ryuko asked Deku, is everything okay? Deku tell her yeah, it's just a flesh wound, but the lifeguard tell her that he's lying and explain the situation, and he tell her that he's the only one who got seriously hurt and everyone is saved because of him and Nijire, and the ambulance will show up in 20 minutes, so sit tight. Then Ryuko looked at Deku and asked him why did he lie. From the sounds of it, we need a recovery girl to heal your arm. Deku explained that he was not lying and he will be fine. But at the same time, Nijiri and Ryuko tell him to stop acting tough, and overall showing good concern to Deku. And this actually shocked him. Of course, throughout his life, people did show some concern to him, but one look to their eyes and he can see that they are lying. They are just pretending to be concerned. But Nijiri and Ryuko right now are actually concerned for him. And he doesn't know how to react. This is the first time for him. So he apologized and told them that he will be careful next time, while trying to avoid eye contact. After that, Ryuko transformed to her dragon form, just to make sure if the villains wake up, she can handle them. And they did wake up, but after seeing the dragon hero, they decide to just sit down. Plus that kid is still here, so after 10 minutes or so, the villains start mumbling and tell themselves that they only have a powerful quirks. And those three are lucky to be born with powerful quirks. And they will never understand how we feel and why we have to do this. And this really go under Deku's skin. He walk up to them and tell them what they mean. So the villain tell him we are the lost, so there is no reason to hide it. The reason we attack you is because we couldn't believe that you don't have a quirk. And after seeing what happened right now, you definitely have multiple quirks, not just one. Deku replies, sorry to burst your bubble, but I don't have a quirk. The villain started shouting at him, telling him to stop lying. They went through a rough life just because they have weird quirks. And you show up pretending that you don't have a quirk, and in fact that you have multiple quirks and they are powerful. You will never understand how it feels. Every day you just wish to just end it. Am I right? Deku replied with a stone voice. Then he continued, what's the point of keep fighting anymore? Why do I care about people? Why did I deserve this? Those are the questions in your head right now. Am I right? The villains look at Deku dumbfounded. Then Deku continued, trust me, if there is anyone in this world that can understand that pain, it's me. You guys were lucky to born with a quirk, so you're not totally useless so that you can defend yourself. Me on the other hand, I had nothing. I had no one. Just me against the world. I don't care if you believe me or not. The only thing I'm going to tell you is the way you're living is a coward's way. You have the right to hate people. You also have the right to hurt the one who hurt you, but you don't have the right to hurt innocent people that have nothing to do with you or your misery. Then when the villain asked him how he was able to forgive them, Deku shook his head and told him, I haven't. But I decided to not waste my time with that kind of people. Plus they're only using their words. So I decided to repay them by kind, aka what happened in the last part. After that the cops arrived and they took the villains and they didn't put up a fight. It seems that Deku's speech did a number on them, more than his punches. But unbeknownst to him, after Ryuko heard Deku's speech, she started connecting the dots. And after a few minutes, paramedic finally arrived and they tell Deku to come with them. Deku tells them that he's just fine and he doesn't need to go to the hospital. Nijiri tells him to stop being stubborn and go with them. Deku tells him, no, I'm actually alright. He quickly removed his bandage, revealing that his arm already healed, shocking everyone. After that, everyone was told to leave the beach because they need to clean whatever the villain throw in it. So the three of them went back to the hotel for the meantime. And Deku is trying his best to avoid eye contact with the both of them. And Ryuko realized that, but she didn't ask why, for now. Then they went to the separate rooms. But after a couple of hours, Ryuko wanted to talk to Deku, but when she got to his room, he wasn't there. Then Nijiri saw her and asked her what's up. She told her that she wants to talk to Deku, but he's not here. Nijiri told her, so let's search for him, if it was urgent. She told her, sort of. I want to clarify something, and he's the only one who can do it. So they split, and after looking around, Ryuko found Deku, sitting alone, lost in his thoughts. She approached him, Deku acknowledged her presence. He asked her if she needs something, then he looks away. She tells him, yeah, it's a bit of personal question, so if you don't want to answer it, it's okay. Ask away, Deku tell her. Your parents are not dead, they abandoned you. Am I right? Deku tell her who gave her that idea. She tell him, you. What you told the villain at the beach, that you had no one. After that, I just connected the dots. With you living alone, you don't have a family name. But all of this are just speculation. So, am I correct? You're right on the money. I was abandoned at age 10. Then Ryuko asked him what exactly happened. Deku tell her it would be better if you don't hear it, but if you insist. Ryuko nod. Then Deku tell her what happened in the beginning of part 1. Then he added that after the shock of being abandoned went off, I realized that I need to get stronger just to survive. So I trained. God knows I trained. Sometimes after training, only lifting one finger will send a shockwave of pain throughout all my body. But I persevered. Because at the time, it was sink or swim. And I was not going to sink. And it took 2 whole years for me to just create one single ball of light. Even though right now it's just pitiful light, back then it gave me hope that my work would not go in vain. And after more training, I was able to use it more properly. And then I realized that with using this power, I will create a new path for me. A path that people either will hate or they will try their best to get close to me to use it. But the second option will not be possible because at that point, I realized just being around people just caused me pain because they only think about themselves and they will not miss a beat to step all over me to reach their goals. So I cut my distance, making the bare minimum of contact with everyone. And if they try to cross the line, I will push back. Then you and Nijiri come along. 2 people that I barely know show no hatred toward me. Even though I tried to push you guys away, you guys did not show a sign of hating me. And at first I thought that you are interested only about my power, but the more time I spend with you guys, I realized that is not the case. Or it's not completely. You were interested, but it wasn't your main objective. But I keep telling myself there must be a hidden objective for all of this. There is no way these people will care for me. Right? Well, I did get my answer today. One, both of you told me to stop being stubborn. I haven't seen someone look at me that way before. I can see only concern about me in your eyes. And that make me feel guilty for judging you from the beginning. Then Ryuko tell him, so that's the reason you keep avoiding eye contact with us. Deku tell her that's half the truth. After seeing you guys' reaction, I was in a crossroad for lack of terms. Should I treat you like I always do with other people, or for once abandoning my belief and trust you? I just don't know. And I can tell that you guys are good people. That's why I just... Then it finally clicked in Ryuko's head. Deku's attitude in general is not because he hates people. It's because he doesn't want to get hurt anymore. And before you guys ask in the comments and start pointing that out, yes, Deku hates some people, mainly Bakugo. But you cannot hate someone that you don't know. Anyway, let's return to the story. So after Ryuko realized Deku's situation, she slowly come close to him and gave him a hug. Deku was shocked because of the sudden hug. Then Ryuko tell him, listen Izuku, I don't know if my word will mean much to you, but I know that you are a good kid and you mean well. So whatever you choose, it will never change how me and Nijiri feel about you. So you don't have to worry, everything will be okay. And when Deku heard the last sentence, for some reason he started crying. It's like the only thing that he wanted to hear all these years, but he doesn't know what it is until he heard it. And he cried for a solid minute. After that he wiped his tears. Then Ryuko apologized if she stepped out of the line. Deku shook his head and told her it's okay. Just thanks, Miss Ryuko. Ryuko smiled and told him, anytime kid, I'm here for you if you want. Deku just nodded. But unbeknownst to both of them, Nijiri is just behind the corner listening to their conversation. So she knew about everything. And guys, please keep in mind that Deku is still a 14-year-old kid. Yes, he's powerful. Yes, he's different from other kids. And I know this is a what if, but I want to keep it as real as possible. So please don't kill me in the comment section. And if you enjoyed the video so far, please leave a like. It helps a lot. So after the talk, the three of them met and Nijiri decided to keep her mouth shut about what she heard. After that, nothing happened until late at night. Nijiri was unable to sleep because of what she heard, and when she looked out the window, she saw Deku flying toward the beach. So she decided to follow him, but she kept her distance to make sure that he didn't see her. So when Deku arrived at the beach, he fly down and just sit down on the sand and nothing more for a solid few minutes. Then he get up and fly at top speed toward her, and he stopped inches from her face, putting a key blast. And after seeing her, he stopped and tell her, it's you, huh? What are you doing here? And were you spying on me? Nijiri tell him sort of. She see him sneak off, so she just follow him. Sorry if I'm disturbing you, I will go. It's okay. If you want, you can stay. I don't mind if it's you. Then Deku realized how that sounds and tell her don't overthink of it. But it's too late. Nijiri's face is already red. But she tried to lie and tell him she didn't. Then she asked him what is he doing here this late at night. I just needed some fresh air and some time alone. She tell him that he have a room all to himself. Deku tell her, true, but I know this is going to sound weird. But when I look at this view, it's on the screen if you want to watch it right now, I feel more relaxed. So Nijiri tell him you're more relaxed when you are close to sea. He tell her sort of the quietness, it's relaxing for me. Then Nijiri look at Deku's eyes and she never seen him this way before. Then she tell him, Izuku, listen here, I want to tell you something. Deku tell her, you know about my past, right? How did you know? Well, I did feel someone looking at me when I was talking with Ryuko. I didn't know who, but right now I got my answer. Nijiri apologized for eavesdropping because it was a private conversation and it was about a sensitive topic. Deku tell her, don't be. I think it's the opposite. It give you the reason why I was upset the first time you told me about my family. Because I sort of know that you're not over it. Until now, right? Nijiri not. So I hope with this you will not feel guilty anymore. Nijiri tell him I will try to. I give him a smile. And for some reason Deku's heart skipped a beat because of it. And his face turned slightly red, so he decided to look away. And she asked him is something wrong? He shook his head. Anyway, let's return to the hotel. It's a bit late. She agreed with him and they went back. So fast forward the next day and luckily the beach was reopened. So three of them decided to try once again to have a nice day. And from the start, Ryuko can see a change in Deku. He's a bit more friendly toward her and Nijiri. And he started calling her Miss Ryuko. But like I said, it's only a small change, so when they decided to go to swim, Deku declined once again. So after a while, people start recognizing Ryuko, so they start gathering around her. And the area start getting a bit more crowded for Deku's taste. So he decided to go for a stroll. And the people start asking about Deku, are they related or something? She shook her head and told them they're acquaintance. Nothing more, nothing less. And of course, they know who's Nijiri because she's the one of victory, remember? So she asked her what is the relationship between her and Deku. She blushed and told them they are just friends. Ryuko gave her the look that tell her basically, really, just friends? And after hearing that, some girls start cheering that maybe they still have a chance. And after Nijiri heard that, she got a bit annoyed and Ryuko sighed and tell her, well, you brought this upon yourself. Meantime, Deku is far away from the crowd and near the hole that he made when he punched the villain yesterday. And he tell to himself, they still haven't fixed it? And he started thinking what he did with the water yesterday. It felt like the water was a part of him. So he sat down and tried to recreate what he did yesterday, but this time using the sand. The water is a bit off limit for a while. So he closed his eyes and tried. At first it seems that nothing is happening. But upon a closer look, he sees that he's able to move the sand but really slowly. Nowhere near the speed of the water yesterday. So he kept working on that because he doesn't feel like swimming. And he kept doing this for a solid hour. And because he haven't returned, Nijiri and Ryuko got to worry about him. So Nijiri used her quirk to fly to find him. And in mere seconds she found him. He's just sitting there seemingly doing nothing. So she tells Ryuko she find him and she fly toward him. Then when she lands, she realizes that the sand around Deku is moving. So she called for him, and when she does, the sand stop moving. And Deku look at her and tell her that she needs something. She tell him that he's been away for an hour, so they get worried about him. An hour has passed already? Man, time sure flies. Anyway, sorry if I worry you. I was trying something new. Then he tell her what he was trying, how about moving the sand like he did with the water yesterday. He was able to do it somewhat, but it's still a far cry from yesterday. She tell him, well, if it's hard right now, practice, it will be easy in the future. Deku smile and tell her, well, that's the plan. Then Neji start getting close to his face, and Deku tell her, what, something on my face? She tell him, sort of, you just smiled. Deku tell her, really? She nod and tell him to do it again. Deku shook his head and tell her that me smiling is just something that happened once in a lifetime, so I hope that he did have a good look at it. Nijiri is a bit bummed and tell him, come on, once again? Please, not happening. Anyway, I'm done with training for right now, so let's go back to Miss Ryuko. We don't want her to get worried about you, right, Hado? She agreed with him and they went back to their spot. So there is still a few people around, but not as much as before, so Deku can relax once again. So Ryuko asked him what he was doing for the past hour. Nijiri asked him, can she tell her? Suit yourself. Then Nijiri started explaining what Deku was trying to do. Ryuko tell him, how many powers do you have, kid? You can fly, you are strong, you are durable, and you can shoot lasers from your hands, and you can control stuff right now. Deku tell her that he doesn't know himself. Like he told her yesterday, he created a new path for him, and frankly, what he can do with it, it's a bit limitless for now. Well, as long as you have the power and stamina to do it. Speaking of power, shouldn't we start training for UA because I still have a few months? I appreciate the break, but I think I should spend my time training. Ryuko tell him that it's good that he have the will to train, but if he overdid it, it's not good for his body. And she realized that he do that quite often. During the time they train together in her agency, she realized that he doesn't take a lot of breaks. So she tell him, if you need to get the most of your training, you need to let your body rest first. Because even though you don't have a quirk, the same rules that apply for normal people apply to you. And the rule is, doing training, you always tear your muscle apart. So they need time to heal back up. But Deku is not letting them heal properly. Then Deku tell her, so that's why my growth in power get exponentially faster when I was training with you. You know, you could just told me that, right? Ryuko smirk and tell him, yeah, I know, but I felt like you not do it properly. And Deku cannot disagree with that, so he kept his mouth shut. So from this point on, nothing happened in terms of villain attacks. No one else tried to attack Deku. So for the rest of the week, Deku started getting closer and closer to Nijiri and Ryuko. Ryuko has taken like a mother role to Deku, and Nijiri is a bit difficult to point her place right now. She's in a friendly term with Deku, but there's still this awkwardness because both of them have feelings for each other, but they are not that strong yet. So at the very least, they enjoy their company. So if you compare Deku from the beginning of this What If to now, that's a big change. Plus Deku started getting used to his new ability, so he was able to create the snakes again, but it took him the whole week to be able to do so. Plus it sparked a new idea in his mind, an idea that will help him increase the speed of his healing. And something else, but you have to wait for that because I'm going to stop it right here. So what do you think of it, guys? Will Deku be overpowered? How long it will take him to realize his feelings toward Nijiri? What will happen next? Leave your thoughts in comments down below, and if you liked the video, drop a like, it helped me a lot. And I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas, and see you guys soon in the next What If. Peace.